UX is tough, not because of the work itself, but because of everything around it. The pressure, the politics, the self-doubt. Joe Natoli has been through it all, and for more than 30 years, he's been helping UXers and designers find their way through the challenges that really make or break a career. Not the wireframes or design tools, but imposter syndrome, office politics, bad bosses, and learning to stand your ground. This is Making UX Work, where he tackles the battles no boot camp, book, or conference ever prepares you for, and shows you how to come out stronger on the other side.
Every one of us has experienced those spans of time where, the work you're doing just feels effortless. Like it all just falls into place naturally, and in those moments you could do no wrong. You're deep in the, the fabled flow state. You're cooking, big time. Now, here's what I want to dig into. When you have those moments when the world feels right, you need to see them for what they are. Proof. They're proof that you have all you need. They're proof that you're capable. They're proof that you got this. And you got to use those instances of proof as a counter against the fear that surfaces for you in moments where you're doubting it, where you're doubting everything. All those negative thoughts, all that self-talk that comes up in your head when things are tough, when they're difficult, when people are difficult, especially. Those times when you feel like, I don't think I could do this, or I'm not sure I'm cut out for this, or I'm not worthy, or whatever it is. When that voice pipes up, you got to remember those instances and call them up to defend your honor, so to speak. Say it to yourself silently, or what the hell, say it out loud if there's no one around. Talk to that voice, talk back. Say, look, well, no, actually, I've done all this before and it went great. So fuck off. The more that happens, the more those win moments you have under your belt, the more natural all this eventually becomes. And again, a lot of this is practice. Now that word gets thrown around a lot. Architects call their business a practice. Doctors and lawyers call their business a practice. Buddhists refer to what they do as practice. And I will swear to you, it was years before the reason that they used that word in that way connected with me. Practice is something you do every day. And because you do it every day, you continuously get better at it. You get to a point where what you do is truly habit and reflex. You've heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, right? Well, that phrase is misunderstood, okay? It's not really about faking anything. It's about having the courage to proceed in moments when you're feeling uncertain, where you're doubting your ability. What that phrase means is I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best to do this thing in the way I think it should be done, even if it feels a little unnatural at first. And I'm going to keep doing it that way until this starts to feel a little more habitual, a little more reflexive, until I don't have to think about it as hard. Which, to be honest, is now making me think of something else. All right, this is a tangent, but maybe, hopefully, it's relevant. I started doing something about 4 or 5 years ago. Every single morning when I come down here into the studio, I have a Buddha statue with a candle sitting in his lap. There's an incense holder in front of him. It's to the right of my desk. And the very first thing that I do when I enter my office is I light the candle and the incense. I stand in front of it. I place my hands in front of my chest, my palms together, and I bow my head and I talk out loud, okay? I run down a list of people and say, I honor the divinity in these people, and I name them, okay? And I start with me, by the way, because as a quote on my desk says, your compassion is incomplete if it does not include yourself. And since I mentioned it, a quick word on this, because it's important. Reading and agreeing with quotes like that one isn't enough, okay? You have to find a way to put them to use in the same way for yourself. I think the thing that a lot of us tend to do is you see these things and you think, wow, that's really profound. That's really great. So you cut it out or you write it down on a piece of paper or you hang it in your office, you buy the poster or whatever it is, but you never put it into practice. Habitual, repeated practice, that purposeful repetition is how those positive thoughts and ideas and actions get hardwired into your brain patterns, literally. All right. It's how you make those aspirations, I guess, real for yourself. So the morning ritual that I'm talking about is how I make that leap from reading to doing. So I start by saying, I honor the divinity in myself. And then I go down the list. I honor the divinity in my wife, Ellie. I do the same with my kids, my parents, her parents, our families, some friends who are very, very important to me, all the wonderful people I've come in contact with all across the world in different ways. My clients, my pets as well. But I start with the first one, me, because even on days when I don't truly feel that, which, it's probably more important on those days, that practice is, to me, what creates belief. It's what creates understanding and compassion and self-love. And through the practice of all those things, they've eventually become a habit for me as well. All right. Now, it's not that anyone ever, told me to do this. I can't even tell you why I started doing that. But this was after I read the thing about bowing. Okay. And the way this person put it was, and there are lots of interpretations. Okay. But his was, when you bow to somebody, you think to yourself, the deepest part of me bows to the deepest part of you. And I probably connected that with some things that I read, that it's important to honor the divinity in yourself, to give yourself a break for all the flaws you think you have, for all those things that you beat yourself up about. It's a way to break that pattern of relentless self-criticism, and start cultivating some sense of your worth as a human being. I'm good, I'm worthy. I deserve praise. I deserve love, especially my own. I'm of the firm belief that now, this far down the road, I can sort of see 60 on the horizon here. Practicing in this way has had a really, really profound impact on my ability to live life in a way where I second guess a lot less. Okay. I still do it, of course, but it really does happen a lot less. I'm closer to a place where I exist in the moment in a really mindful sort of way, following, what I know to be right instead of bending to outside pressure or reaction, instead of acting or speaking and behaving in a way that isn't me. And the thing about this is it also removes the pressure to be right. Okay? You and I are just having a conversation. I don't have to be right. I don't care about being right. I don't have to care about being right. It isn't important.
Every UXer and product designer I've ever met eventually hits the wall. You know the wall, the one built by managers, stakeholders, or formed by internal politics. The wall that renders every method they were ever taught irrelevant or just feeling impossible. Joe Natoli has spent 35 years helping global enterprises tear that wall down. The UX 365 Academy Joe created is the missing manual for your UX career. It's the much-needed practical lessons for the world you actually work in. Stop struggling to get buy-in and start making impact. Learn more at ux365academy.com.
So this practice, this thing I'm telling you about that I do every morning, it grounds me. That's the best word, just like an electrical circuit, it grounds me. It gives me a sense of solidity that I don't think I'd have otherwise. And here's something else that's equally as important. At the end of that session every morning, I name 5 people in particular who have hurt me greatly. And I honor the divinity in them as well. And I say, literally, may they find peace. And believe it or not, that too seems to help in really profound ways. And if I'm completely honest with you, that was really difficult at first. Okay. But my reason for doing it ties into what I said in an earlier episode. This is me setting down their bags and refusing to carry them. Okay. That forgiveness is not for them. That well-wishing is not for them. It's for me. Now, this part bears repeating. Okay. The practicing part of this is absolutely the key. You have to do it. It's like something I've said before, taking the hand away that's smacking you in the head, putting down that baggage you're carrying. All the metaphors I've talked about so far all play into the end result that I'm talking about here. The point is you got to practice doing it so that it becomes normal, so that it becomes part of who you are as opposed to just being something that you do. And I'll tell you honestly, there have certainly been mornings where I've come down here and I know I'm running late and I know there's a call I need to get to, and I take the 5 minutes to do this regardless. It's not ever skipped for any reason. And I honestly can't say that about all the things I do that are important. Believe me, like exercise, not consistent at all. But I will say that this practice is the one thing that does not budge for me ever. I just refuse. Okay. It's too important. So this is what I do, but you have to find something, I think, that works for you. Some ritual, something you will take time to do every single day at the same time. It doesn't matter what it is. Write in a journal, listen to a particular piece of music in headphones with your eyes closed. 60 seconds of silence. Doesn't have to be formal, doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be something that works for you. Something that, centers you in some way, brings you back into the moment fully. To me, these things serve as armor. Okay, my ritual, the one I just described to you, is the thing that keeps me from being defensive in a situation where someone's challenging me or is upset, in some combative sort of way. It's what allows me to simply feel that calmness and just exude it. Instead of having to think about staying calm, I already am. The reaction is instant because of that practice. My brain jumps automatically to, this isn't about me. It's not an indictment of me. It's not a judgment of me. It's not anything. It's their reaction to whatever the situation is. It's their stuff that they're carrying. It does not ever cross my mind that this has anything to do with me personally, seriously. And again, this is not some magic power I possess or some miracle that I came by. It is the result of practice. You understand? It's a result of repetition. It's the result of constantly going back to that place over and over and over and over and over again so that it becomes habit. It becomes reflexive. It becomes unconscious. Try it out. Find something that works for you. Keep trying different things until you find something that works for you. But the key to whatever it is, okay, if you do it once and you feel like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. The key is doing it over and over and over and over again. Just once a day. Try it once a day. It's all it takes. Doesn't have to be anything major, nothing you have to make a huge commitment to. But pick something and give it a shot. Do at least 5 days in a row. See how you feel. All right, that's it for this time around. So next time we're going to dig deeper into this idea of practice and how to exercise it in the moment, on the job, in the middle of whatever storm is headed your way, or the one that's already here.
You've been listening to Making UX Work with Joe Natoli. Honest talk about the hidden challenges that shape a design career. See you next time. And until then, onward and upward.